Good morning. Today we are going to present about carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are a type of macronutrient found in different foods. They are made up of sugar molecules, including sugars, starches, and fibers, which provides the body with energy. They can be found in fruit, grains, vegetables, milk products, and processed foods. They are an essential part of a healthy diet since it provides the body with the energy and nutrients necessary. However, the type and amount of carbohydrates consumed can affect our health and may impact blood sugar levels, weight control, and other health factors. The main function of the carbohydrates is to supply energy to all the cells in our body. The first stage in the breakdown of glucose is called glycolysis. In glycolysis, or the splitting of glucose, it occurs a series of 10 enzymatic reaction steps. During the second stage of glucose breakdown, this happens in the mitochondria, where one carbon atom and two oxygen atoms are removed, yielding more energy. This energy released from the carbon bonds is carried to another area of the mitochondria. This makes the cellular energy available in a form cells can use. Other function of carbohydrates is energy storage. And if the body already has enough energy to support these functions, the excess glucose will be stored as glycogen. For example, the liver, like a muscle, can store glucose energy as a glycogen, but in contrast to muscle tissue, it will sacrifice its stored glucose energy to other tissues in the body when blood glucose is low. The liver uses this glycogen reserve as a way to keep blood glucose levels within a narrow range between mealtimes. And when the liver glycogen supply is exhausted, glucose is made from amino acids obtained from the destruction of proteins in order to maintain metabolic homeostasis.
Well, as we have seen before, carbohydrates compose the main source of energy in the body. It is important to mention that we can separate carbohydrates depending on their structure. Now, I'm going to talk about the simple carbohydrates and the complex carbohydrates. The simple ones contains only 1 unit of sugar or 2 units of sugar. The 1 unit of sugar, also called monosaccharide, and the 2, which also can called by disaccharides. Well, they are sweet in taste and can broken down quickly in the body to release that energy. Some examples of simple sugars are glucose and fructose. It is important to mention that glucose is the primary form of sugar that we can find stored in our bodies for energy release. Meanwhile, fructose is the main component in fruits. About the complex ones, they are made up of long chains of simple sugar units bonded together. They are commonly referred to as polysaccharides since they are made by joining a lot of molecules. No molecules, it's monosaccharides. And also, because of their longer chains, they take a longer time to break down and provide more lasting energy in the bodies than the simple ones. Some examples of complex sugars are starch, resistant starch, glycogen, and cellulose. Now, I'm going to talk about the different types of complex carbohydrates that I talk later. The first one is the starch. The starch is a complex carbohydrate that plants use to store glucose for energy. Plants often store starch in their seeds, and when humans eat the starch, they are broken down by the digestive system to sugar, which provides cells with energy. The resistant starch is a starch that can resist the digestion. In this case, food travels straight from the small intestine to the large intestine. Glycogen is a carbohydrate used by animals to store energy. It is stored as an instant source of energy in the liver and muscle tissues. Its structure is like a branched chain of glucose units. The final one is the cellulose, which can be digested by human beings like us, nor used as an energy source. Nevertheless, it helps exercise the digestive tract and keep it clean and healthy. Cellulose differs from starch and glycogen because glucose units form a two-dimensional structure with hydrogen bonds, therefore giving the molecules more stability.
It is not a surprise that a diet rich in carbohydrates is essential for a healthy diet, especially if you're doing any kind of physical activity. More than 1 hour ensures that the muscles receive a sufficient amount of energy. It increases endurance and intermittent high intensity performance due to the glycogen store. In the case of athletes, it is important for them to have a lot of carbohydrates stored in their body so that in intense training or competitions, the fatigue delays and in this sense, it benefits the performance, making it last longer. In contrary of proteins and dietary fats, these sugar molecules are able to break down expertly and be metabolized easily for the body. Nevertheless, contribution of carbohydrates depends on the type of exercise. With respect to the amount of carbohydrates good for our bodies, as everything related to healthy diet, it needs to be controlled. That is the main reason why large metabolic load is caused by the high levels of blood sugar on the body. Over time, the risk of gaining weight and heart diseases are higher. Most commonly, when eating too much food containing carbohydrates, it is related to the development of type 2 diabetes because of the insufficiency of producing enough insulin. This condition, insulin resistance, prevents blood sugar regulation. In conclusion, the consumption of carbohydrates in the body must be regulated as well as other foods to prevent diseases.
Fiber plays a crucial role in maintaining good digestive health and lowering the risk of chronic diseases. It is a type of carbohydrate that cannot be digested by the human's body enzymes. Instead, it passes through the digestive system largely intact, proving numerous health benefits. In the case of digestive health, fiber adds fuel to the stool, softens and speeds up its movement through the intestines. Also reduces the risk of hemorrhoids. A fiber-rich diet softens the stool and reduces the strain during bowel movements, decreasing the risk of hemorrhoids. And finally, it prevents diverticular disease. Diverticula are small, bulging pouches that can form in the lining of the digestive system, particularly in the colon. In the case of chronic disease prevention, this can control blood sugar levels. Soluble fiber slows down the absorption of sugar, helping to regulate blood glucose levels. This is particularly beneficial for individuals with diabetes or insulin resistance. Also, it lowers cholesterol levels. Soluble fiber brings to the cholesterol in the digestive tract, reducing its absorption into the bloodstream. And finally, it promotes healthy weight management. High fiber food tends to be more filling and contribute fewer calories. By increasing satiety, fiber helps control appetite. Also, it helps preventing overreacting, and it maintains a healthy weight. Low carbohydrate diets have gained a significant popularity in these recent years, with many individuals adopting them for many reasons. The main reason is for weight loss and improved metabolic health. These diets typically involve reducing carbohydrate intake and increasing the consumption of fats and proteins, while they can lead to short-term weight loss and positive metabolic changes. It is essential to consider both the potential benefits and risks associated with low carbohydrate diets. The benefit of low carbohydrate diets is first, the most important, and is the weight loss. Low carbohydrate diets often result in rapid weight loss. Also, it improves blood sugar control. Reducing carbohydrate intake can help stabilize blood sugar and improve insulin sensitivity, making low carbohydrate diets beneficial for individuals with two types of diabetes. In case of the risk and potential side effects of low carbohydrate diets, is first the nutrient deficiency. Severely restricting carbohydrates can lead to intake of essential nutrients found in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. And another side effect is the constipation. Low carbohydrate diets often lack fiber, which can lead to constipation. Fiber helps and bulks the stool and promotes regular bowel movements.